having this belief almost that suffering is inevitable, are we not almost attracting that into our lives? We learn about the subconscious mind and your beliefs determine your reality. So by having this belief and this understanding that, well, suffering's always going to happen, and if anything, we need it to happen, does that not create a reality where suffering is invited even more?
On the one hand, I would say we're not even dealing with the realm of belief here. Even if we take a scientific approach, let's just take a stand back and observe. Have we experienced moments that involve pain? Are there times that we can see other people going through incredible, deep, painful challenges? Are there parts of the world that we recognize that don't seem fair? No matter how we try and justify or rationalize or explain it away, it just doesn't seem to make sense on a cognitive level. A child having some sort of illness that dies in the first few days of his or her life, or your sister getting cancer whenever she's just given birth and she's creating this new family, or an older person leaving when it still seems too short. So we don't have to believe, we just have to see that it does happen. The point, do we attract it? I think there's a difference between seeing and accepting and acknowledging, and then the approach we take to that. And so the approach which I would probably recognize in myself as being an optimistic realist. So I can see that, of course, there are all these different storms and whirls of painful emotions we go through. But what do I do with that? Do I still go through a life seeing that there will be light? Because if there is darkness, there has to be light. And it's a law of polarity. If there is despair, there has to be hope. If there is sadness, there has to be joy. If there is fear, there has to be love. And so these are both flip sides of the same coin. And so then we begin to open ourselves to the whole gamut of experience which we'll have. And so you have some individuals that are expecting pain, or expecting things to go wrong, or expecting their life to be difficult. And I'd say on that level, what you seek is often what you will attract. But if we can let go of any attachment to either or, if we can meet with triumph and disaster, and in the words of Kipling, treat both impostures the same, then we've got more freedom, we've got more choice. And so we can take what is lead and then turn it into gold. So it's like you're saying, it's not seeing it and holding on to it and then letting the mind run away with what this means. It means that I won't be happy, or I'll be alone, or my life will remain this way. No. This is just an experience that life has given you. And it's given you this experience for a reason. Every experience you have is for you, and it's for you specifically.
I also went through that stage, and I had that moment, and I remember looking up and was kind of looking at the sky and just going, this could make or break me.
Completely.
And I chose to embrace that pain and use it to thrive and use it to grow and use it to develop, etc. And it was the best thing that ever happened to me.
Yeah.
And the thing I kept telling myself was, I can choose to make this the best thing that ever happened to me.
Yeah.
What do you think it is that we share that's able for us to think like that? Because I know there are men out there who don't think like that. I had friends who've gone through similar or worse experiences, and their immediate resort is choosing to drink, drugs, etc. Go party, go find a new girl, go basically chase the next high that they could find to kind of avoid the pain.
I remember reading, I think it was a month or two after this had happened, or found out the news, and there had been a similar situation that was in the press, where I think it was a news presenter, and she'd had an affair, and the husband ended up committing suicide. And that was quite a stark reality of seeing that this is serious. Like, it's a set of circumstances and events. And even now, sometimes my mind will play it down, and part of my path is acknowledging that actually it was incredibly painful and hurtful. It is the best thing that's ever happened to me. At the same time, I need to be careful I don't demean or undermine the pain or hurt that was experienced. But for me, in a way, it's less important about the pain and hurt. The important part, like you're saying, is you're asking what determines which way you go down. Everyone has awareness, and everyone has consciousness, which is separate to the mind. And the mind comes from a place of fear and doubt and judgment. And it can be a terrible master, or it can be a faithful servant. Our path is beginning to recognize that right now, when the mind is ruling, the cart has gone in front of the horse, and that's not the path which will lead to freedom.